As I grew up, I had struggles, and I got involved with bartending at an early age to try to make ends meet, and got surrounded by a lot of people that weren't doing great things with their life, and their negativity started to dim that light that I always had inside of me. That's something that said you're meant to do something big with your life. About 3 years later, I ended up meeting my now husband, Billy. 3 months into our relationship, found out that we were pregnant, and I was scared to death. I thought, why me? You know, why me? That I finally felt I had some traction in my life. I had bought a house at 20 and felt like I was separating myself from where I came from and my family and the poverty, to now being pregnant at 23, no insurance, and lo and behold, at 7 months pregnant, I ended up giving birth to my daughter, 8 weeks premature, with a severe brain bleed, and come to find out a 90% chance of cerebral palsy. I remember looking at her and thinking, what if I can't provide for her? What if I can't be the person I always dreamed I would be as a mom? What if, you know, she struggled throughout her life and I couldn't provide for her the way I wanted to provide for her? And I went back to bartending. It was the only thing I knew what to do. And we ended up getting a bill in the mail. It was the first of many for $222,000. And I was scared. And I remember Billy coming home one day and saying, hey, you know, there's people that were telling me about this church in Lutz. It's called Grace Family Church. And I was like, you know, I don't think I want to go to church. Like, we're unwed parents. They're not going to accept us. The same things that ran through my head as a child, I continued to battle with. And I thought, you know, I don't think I belong there. And one day he dragged me into Grace Family Church. And so they immediately welcomed us and brought us to our seats. And then there was the moment where we all stood up and they started singing, and I knew none of the songs. But this wave of emotion came over me, as if I had been holding in emotions for the whole entire being of my life. And I bawled, and I couldn't stop sobbing. And it was such a release to be in that church and know that I was in the right place at the right time, and it was time for me to start letting go of some of the stuff that I'd been holding on to. And I said, you know what, God, I really fully surrender my life to you. I surrender the finances. I surrender my daughter's health. I surrender my relationship. I surrender everything in my life that I am holding on to right now. And I threw my hands up in the air, and I just knew everything was about to change, because I'd finally listened to the whisper and trusted that everything was going to be okay. And about 2 weeks later, I got this phone call, and it was from a company called Beachbody. I had done their program P90X a while back, and they said, hey, you know, you should really look into this opportunity. And normally, and honestly, my initial reaction was to be like, no, not for me. You know, I'm busy, I have to find a real job and do this thing. But for some reason, he sent me this video, and I thought, I'm gonna delete it. And as I was about to delete it, there was the whisper again. It said, just watch it. And so I pressed it, I watched the video, and it was like God flooded his thoughts and purpose into my life. And I knew this was it. This was my moment. And I didn't know where it was gonna take me, and I didn't know exactly how it was gonna happen. But I just trusted fully in God's will, and that it was there for a reason. That was 3 years ago. And since then, I have grown a business that is over a 7-figure-a-year business. I'm the #1 person in the company out of 130,000 people. My daughter is perfect. She is 4 years old now, and she is 100% healthy. We have an amazing marriage, and I could not have done this without God's direction every step of the way. So whoever is listening to this right now, I don't care what your circumstances are, just know that God can do amazing things in your life. There are no limits to what he can do. He can take the impossible and use it for his glory. And I look at all the things that I've gone through, and I know now that they all link to me being able to be a perfect example of what God can do in people's life. He can do amazing things. So believe that he will do those amazing things in your life, and he will.